On this episode, a message to you, Checkerhead. We are done with the rat race and our racist friends to hang out with little bitches and gangsters. You're wondering now if we've been doing too much too young, but we're nothing if not special. AKA, more special. We're talking about the band that kicked off the two-tone movement, the Coventry Automatics, on Checkered Past, the Ska'd cast.
Oh, hey, oh, what the fuck you doing with your life these days? Oh, hey, oh, what the fuck you doing with yourself? Oh, hey, oh, what the fuck you doing with your life these days? Oh, hey, oh, what the fuck you doing with yourself?
What up, Checkerheads? Welcome to Checkered Past, the Ska'd cast with Celine and Rob, the show where a Ska Creed and a Philadelphia 97er explore the history and impact of a different band each episode and hope to bring in new fans along the way. I'm Rob, and this is my sister and co-host, Celine.
One more time?
No.
No, I didn't catch it.
Ska Creed.
Okay.
Apollo Creed.
Yeah.
Philadelphia 97er.
I don't know what that means.
Philadelphia 76ers is some kind of sports team.
I don't know sports ball. Why would you do that to me?
I don't know. It was funny.
Those were sports.
Yeah,
ska?
well, kind of.
Sports ska.
One was like
One was
boxing.
like a boxer. Yeah.
Like a fake boxer.
A fake. That was not Apollo Creed's not a real boxer.
No.
Movies are not based on a real boxer.
I don't know. I don't think so. As far as I am concerned.
Yeah.
What else you got?
That's it. I just want hi. I'm happy to be here.
Hey, what's up?
Over?
Yeah, what's on the Celine?
Oh yeah. Doom 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 doom. Celine. If all you got is a minute, that's all you need for Celine. Did you like that one? It's different every time.
Was it different?
Yeah, definitely different.
It's sounding more the same because you keep rhyming Celine with minute.
That's all you need. In it. Fin it.
So what do you got?
Gorilla knit.
It was your birthday.
Yeah, it was my birthday.
Oh yeah, happy birthday.
Go shorty, it's your birthday. I'm good. I have been so tired. I was so tired before my birthday, and then I turned 32. I am not able. I don't know if I was ever able, but like to drink all day and then to continue to drink all night is very hard.
Yeah, there's a song there.
There's a song there. Yeah, I'm sure.
Drink all day and then continue to drink all night. You were drinking rosé when I showed up.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a lot after like two bottles of rosé.
Tiny like fancy flute
yeah,
of rosé.
Being fancy.
That always was the same.
A flute.
Fullness.
It was always the same fullness.
Yeah, because it kept getting refreshed.
Yeah. That was it. And I like completely shot my voice.
Doing
karaoke, but I feel like I shot my voice cheering for my friends' karaoke and yelling to sing with them.
So what was your songs?
Toss a Coin to the Witcher really killed it. Fancy by Reba McEntire always kills it. I feel like, what was a gooder? Joey.
You did a roaring rendition of Oonts, Oonts, Oonts by
I did Oonts by the Bloodhound Gang.
You have to, because of your song
because
you're on.
I did a feature with Common Sense King. Oh my god, he's going to like that. Edit that out. Edit it out.
I'll just clip it and send it to him.
And so then my friends were being really obnoxious and they're like, say the line. And when it was the Untus part, they're like, whoa. They're being so fucking obnoxious about it.
And you were like not having it, right?
I usually do, but it was almost too much. I don't know about we'll mention our guests soon, but I don't know. I feel like when people start cheering, I want to stop. I'm like, too much pressure. I'd be really good in a band.
There's just too much pressure to be cheered at.
Too much pressure.
What?
Too much pressure.
I see what you're doing.
Yeah.
So maybe we should carry no further. Yeah. So we're absolutely thrilled to introduce our guests. They're the vocalist and guitarist for Philly-based ska band Catbite, whose latest album, Nice One, is available everywhere right now through Bad Time Records. Brit and Tim are here. Hi, friends.
Yay.
Hello.
We're here. What's up? Thanks for having us.
We are so happy to have
our
you.
biggest ska Twitter guests, almost.
No way.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, way.
I said our biggest guests, and then Rob was like, "What about Reese Roper?" And I was like, "I don't know, but with the hip with the kids, you're more hip with the kids.
Hip with the kids. We'll
Yeah.
take it.
I'll take that any day. Yeah.
Yeah."
Usually we start by doing the whole Checkered Past ska origin story thing here first, but you are sandwiched in between two giant tours, where you were actually here in Canada very recently. So I want to hear, how was Canada?
How was Canada?
It was really fun. We went to Toronto. That was the first show we did. Although there was some dumb bullshit that happened with the promoter and like the time. So like the times were early. We were told we were going to be on, doors were earlier and we would be on earlier, but everywhere else was like 8 and 8:30. So lots of people missed our set that wanted to see us.
That sucks.
It was basically like advertised
I'd
at
be
the
pissed
show.
if I did fly in. And
Yeah.
Yeah, I wish we had like more time to like hang out.
Yeah, 'cause
There.
we just were there Saturday and then we dipped.
Yeah.
Because then we had to go to Buffalo.
Yeah.
Which
Right.
and then, oh boy. So then crossing back into the United States of
Yeah.
America, we fucking...
Wait, let's preface with crossing into Canada 10 minutes or less.
No, it's 5 minutes at the border.
It was like the easiest thing. The woman
Yay,
was like,
that makes me happy.
she was like, have great
on in.
shows. Yeah.
She was really nice.
She literally just like looked in, like she went around and checked all our passports and like made sure our faces matched and everything. But then she was just like, what are you bringing in with you? And we were like, instruments.
And she's like,
and
okay,
gear.
have
And
fun.
she was like, okay.
And then so we're
Kid gave you a kiss on the cheek and sent you
Yeah.
on your way,
Shout
patted your
out.
head.
I wish I got her name. She was-
She gave us like goodie bags. And
There was an iPod Classic in there for some reason.
Yeah, it was great. So yeah, then going back into the US, we crossed by like 1,000 Island, which I don't know, is that where the dressing's from? Maybe.
That's what I was thinking.
I guess.
there's like
There's-
1,000 different little islands.
Yeah, that was the name of the border cross. And we were crossing on our way to Buffalo, and fucking douchiest looking motherfucker in the world, of course, is the guy there. Yeah, dude sucked. And so they ended up searching our entire vehicle, our whole van,
Took
got the
everything
dogs
out.
out, and then turns out, so let me preface this with we barely smoke weed in this band. There's like 2 members of this band that smoke weed occasionally, like me and our drummer. And
everyone else kind of maybe smokes weed sometimes.
every now and then, but we're not like a weed band. And we're like, all right, we have nothing on us. Like, this will be easy. They'll search and then they'll let us on our way. And then, but a couple weeks ago, when we were playing a show, someone gave us a bunch of weed, which happens a lot. And one of the joints ended up in our merch shit, and no one knew it was in there.
Yeah.
Fucking
I am a
dogs
weed
found
band.
it.
I am personally a weed band, and I
Yeah.
feel like there's like always like a sneaky little dude that you're like, what? That's in my leather jacket.
Yeah.
It was like in the front pocket of like a.
It was like a pre-roll that someone gave us, and it was like,
Yeah, and
So-
there's like markers and like tape and all that shit. So it's just like we just did not remember that it was
Yeah.
in there.
But long story short, we were there for 2.5 hours, and we got fined
Ugh.
$1,000. Yeah.
That sucks.
Yeah, and we're like hella late to our show in Buffalo.
Yeah.
So yeah, fuck that. And also they had a giant portrait of fucking Donald Trump in there, and on the door it said President of the United States Donald Trump. Like,
2017
oh my
to 2022.
On the door
To
of-
2022.
Yeah, of the U.S. Border Patrol. It still
It's
said,
like it's like inscribed in the window of the building.
yeah.
That's
So,
wild.
That's the type of people we were working with.
That's terrifying.
So that fucking sucked.
It was really terrifying. I'm
That's
like,
really terrifying.
what if we got like
Yeah.
what do? You got arrested at the border.
Yeah,
What
we were
happens
like
then?
thought we were
I
gonna
have
get,
a
like,
mouth on
detained
me
and shit.
too, so that's what I worry about.
Yeah,
Especially
we
if
were-
someone was commenting on our appearance, I would be like,
Yeah, Celine's got a short fuse for
I
that.
have a short fuse for that.
I'm the
stuff,
same. I'm the
regardless
same
of-
way.
Yeah.
Yeah, regardless of who it is.
Yeah.
Especially if it was like a short little Napoleon ass white
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah.
My immediate reaction would be to emasculate him, and I don't think that would go well.
Yeah. So it was just like,
Yeah, they sent us. So Tim and Chris, our drummer, they like had to pay the fines, and then they were like, the rest of you can go back and pack your van up. And we go, and like everything's just all over the place. And we're walking out there. I'm like seeing all our bags and merch and everything out on the ground, and I'm just like, motherfucking idiots, like pieces of shit.
Yeah.
And Ben, our bass player, was like, can you just like not be yelling that like while there's like border patrol officers like within spitting distance of us so that we don't all get arrested. I was like, all right.
Yeah.
The one pragmatic
Fine.
person is just like, I know this is bullshit, but let's get the fuck out of here first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was just like, yep, I'm sorry. Yes, no, never happened again. God, it was so fucking
You're a piece
dumb.
of shit. He just
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
is some sort of like moderator on 4chan, it sounds like.
Yeah. So that was our Canada
Big shit.
weekend.
Okay,
And-
just leave. See, you should never leave Canada. That's what you learn.
I know, right?
Seems like it, yeah.
Yeah. I'm just never crossed
The
there.
shows were all really great though, and Buffalo was really fun.
Yeah.
So it was fun, and we had a good time.
It seems like you have a lot of things happen to you while you're on tour.
It's crazy.
Yo, it's insane.
And I'm
Like,
Not putting it on you. I'm empathizing
It's
with
Tim.
your-
Tim's cursed.
I
Tim's
literally
cursed.
think I'm cursed because I don't know.
He's
It's-
cursed.
What witch have you? Did you piss off a witch?
He must
I
have.
don't know.
Somebody.
Like, it's just it's like we can't catch a break.
You can't catch a break.
It's like a tire gets a big ass fucking like the craziest
Yeah.
nail you've ever seen. The tire gets it. The
our
border patrol,
yeah.
COVID, but COVID's been happening there.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's kind of we're at the point
This
where
tour is gonna be great though.
Hey,
Yeah.
it's a new moon today and tomorrow, so
Yeah.
Okay.
we are speaking things into existence
It's-
that we
Yes.
want to happen.
Yeah, we
so
got-
Catbite is over their bad luck. You
Exactly.
had things happened in 3. You got COVID, car trouble, and border. So
Right.
you're good now. You're
Right.
good. Everything's smooth
Yeah.
sailing from now on.
Thank you. Appreciate you. Appreciate
Somebody
it.
had to.
You're welcome.
And nobody else was doing it.
No one else was doing it.
Yeah.
Rob's a very realistic, pragmatic person, and I'm like a woo-woo witchy lady pulling tarot. So I like to force him into these things.
Oh yeah. The universe is throwing a million-sided dice on everything. That's my.
I like to always tell him the
Nihilistic
veil
opinion.
is thin.
Yeah.
I've heard a few times that the veil is thin.
Yeah, I like to tell him when the veil
Yeah,
is thin.
she'll just text me randomly. She's just like, "Hey, did you know the veil's thin?"
Yeah.
What? What do I do with
Right-
this information?
right now.
How is our friend Kenny? Was he
Oh,
being
yeah,
a good
Kenny.
boy?
We love
Yeah,
Kenny.
he's great.
Kenny's amazing.
Yeah, so like our normal keyboard player Esteban, he is having a kid,
Aw.
which is awesome. So he's kind of had to take a little bit of a step back from touring with us while that happens because that's a big thing. So,
Why?
Yeah,
I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
turns out, yeah, having
Just
kids,
bring the baby with you.
Yeah, I don't get it.
like the band at first we were like always doing it as a 4-piece with Brit playing keys and singing, and then like coming out of the pandemic as we started playing shows again, we were like, well, Esteban, you play keys on all the albums, so like let's just fucking fly him out. And ever since we've been doing it as a 5-piece, it's like no turning back because Brit
Aw,
can just
that's
run
awesome.
around on stage, do her fucking thing, and
Yeah.
like Esteban's going nuts on keys.
It's definitely different. It's a different energy completely.
Yeah, so when he like wasn't able to do, starting with like this Jeff Rosenstock tour that's coming up, we were kind of scrambling to find someone preferably more local to us in Philly, and we tried out a couple people like in Philly, and they just didn't really have like the ska keyboard thing down. Like they were great, but just like they weren't like trained in ska and stuff.
Yeah.
And then we're like, yo, Kenny. Yeah, Kenny's a great
Yeah.
fucking musician. And he like sent us audition video in a matter of like an hour of like, we told him like 4 songs to like, try, like just like, play along to it, send us a video. And it was like within an hour he sent them, and they're like,
Yeah, and they were
And
just
crushed
they
it.
fucking
perfect.
ripped, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And he wore sunglasses in his videos. It was like nighttime.
Oh,
yeah.
and he's
So-
like too pure for the world.
Yeah.
We all do. Like,
And
Exactly.
yeah, we had exactly one practice with him like 2 weeks ago, and just we ran through the set like twice, and it was literally fucking perfect. It was awesome. And so this
fun
like
pairing.
this little weekend was kind of like his first experience ever like really playing shows and touring and stuff, and he had a fucking blast, and he's a great dude. So I'm really excited to like have him on as kind of like our, he's gonna be basically playing like probably, I don't know, like 75% of the shows we have from the rest of the year.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and he's very excited, and we're very excited, and we really vibe well.
Oh, when we got to Canada, he had never been to Canada. He was like breathing in the air, and he was like, we're in Canada. I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, Kenny.
It's
He's
I
like,
love I love his energy so much. 'Cause,
Yeah,
like,
he like messaged us. He's like, "You gonna come?" And we're like, "I want to so bad, but
Yeah.
like just like $1,500 just for the flight, and it's
Yeah.
a 6-hour flight."
yeah.
Oh my
Flights
God.
are fucking ridiculous
Flights
right
are
now
terrible
too,
right
which
now.
sucks.
Flights and
Yeah.
gas.
Yeah, because so we're like, so to start this tour coming up in Portland, me and Brit and our merch person are driving all the way there from Philly, which is 3,000 miles, and then we're flying the rest of our band out there, and then the tour ends in Salt Lake City, and we're going to do the reverse. So me and Brit will fly home, and they'll drive the van back. So we're like,
Yeah.
You
Just
know-
so no one has to do like both route drives, you know, and I don't
Yeah.
know, it just kind of seems
It's
the
just
most
kinda- yeah.
fairest way.
but like we just finally, after watching the flights like for the past 2 months, just like fluctuate, and we're like, please just go down. They just were not going down, and it was
Not in
like,
this economy. And that's like, I feel like in the States, it's cheaper to fly around. In Canada, it's like
it's because there's more
insane.
airlines.
yeah,
In
true.
Canada, we have two.
Also, it's just the longer distances. What's bizarre to me is like being in the States and you can like drive a couple hours and you're like in a different state. Like you're barely in a different city.
Oh yeah, I mean
Yeah.
New Jersey, I could probably throw a rock to.
no.
Can you see it from your backyard?
You
So
can't-
all right, from
if
our
you're, like,
old
in-
house, I could probably throw a rock to the river
Yeah.
that New Jersey is across from.
Our old
I like
house,
the fact checking.
Yeah.
No, you
All right.
could not.
our old house, which was like
I was also
It's
making
like-
a Sarah Palin joke, but that's
Okay, so probably about it's probably what
it's almost
3 football fields away is the river
Yeah.
that New Jersey's on the other side of. So
there's
That's wild.
there's like this place called Graffiti Pier, and you can like be on like top of these like big rocks, and like you can pretty much see New Jersey.
well, yeah, it's right there. River's right there.
Yeah,
That's
New Jersey. It's a
nuts.
5-minute drive to New Jersey.
and Delaware's not like.
And then
far.
Delaware's 20 minutes that way, where you do all your tax-free shopping,
exactly
where you buy a new TV, you buy your alcohol for your
Fire, like,
wedding.
alcohol,
Yeah,
The Simpsons told me they have a screen door factory there.
probably.
Probably.
Well, all the like mega corporations have their headquarters
In
there because they
Delaware.
have no sales tax,
Ah,
and that's how they get away with all that shit. So it's like
Motherfuckers.
you have like little
That's our
closets.
province.
yeah.
Yeah,
We have 5% tax. We have the cheapest tax in the whole country.
Wow,
Yeah.
5%.
5%.
Yeah, that's
Whenever I go
that's
somewhere, I'm like,
federal.
everything's so expensive.
And that's federal. That's not even provincial.
We have nothing.
We have no
provincial.
provincial.
We have no provincial
It's
tax.
just GST,
period.
yeah.
wow,
What?
Mhm.
Damn.
Yeah.
damn,
Guess we're moving.
Well,
there.
we're oil country, baby.
yeah.
We have all the big states daddies in here.
All the
Yeah.
fracking.
And people around here still bitch about paying federal taxes.
Oh yeah, God, and we just literally want like. Anyways, Canada is better than the States, but it's still very
better.
It is politically.
I mean,
Things
yeah, it's definitely
seem bad
bloody.
there,
Oh, yeah.
It's
but
bad.
it's still not good.
Yeah.
Still not good here, especially in Alberta. It's like the most conservative province.
Just realizing that we were just sharing tour stories for like 20 minutes.
I was like,
That's
oh, we're just
amazing.
hanging out. We're just
Uh,
having a beer and chatting. Nothing
Yeah,
too
I mean-
pressing.
I'm down.
So, okay, so then I guess I have just one question for the people. Checkered Past is the theme of the podcast. So,
Mhm.
your ska origin story, if you will, how you came about to uncover it as a young people, and where'd you start? So, Tim, I'll start with you.
Cool. So I kind of like discovered the ska, unknowingly, kind of like in like, I don't know, when I was like 14 or so, when I was real big into LimeWire and just downloading shit off the internet.
LimeWire heads. Unite.
You know, I was downloading, like, I basically started with, I was like really big into like Linkin Park. That was it until this point. And then I saw there's like this
Me
one punk.
too.
There was like a very few amount of punk kids at my high school, and there was this one dude that kept wearing this Anti-Flag shirt, and I'm like, I like this. I don't know what it is, but I like it. And then like he told me it was a band, and I like started downloading that shit, and then basically anything attached to that, and which eventually led me to like Rancid and like Goldfinger and like Less Than Jake and shit like that. I had no idea it was ska. And then when I was maybe like 15 or so, I became friends with this dude, Todd, who was one of the other punk kids in my high school. And he was in a band called The Snails, which I eventually joined, which was like a ska punk band. And he just kind of was the one that introduced me to like The Clash and we kind of together dove into the whole Hellcat Records discography and discovered the Agrolites and Westbound Train and the Slackers. And that's what we really like latched onto. And just kind of through that and through the Clash, we kind of just together I would just go over to his house because I didn't have internet in high school, but he did. And we would just kind of like find out about like Jamaican music. And we just kind of jumped from like that shit straight into like Trojan Records and like the original like 1960s ska and rocksteady and reggae. And then he taught me how to play guitar, which for his band, The Snails, which was a ska band. And then
Well, you taught yourself guitar.
Well,
He
yeah.
just taught you like 3 chords.
Yeah, so I got grounded. For smoking weed.
Here it is again.
Here it is again.
Hothead.
Yeah.
Hothead over here.
The funny thing was I
Thought you
quit.
weren't a weed band.
So the funny thing was I stopped smoking weed, and my mom found out that I used to smoke weed, so she grounded me.
God.
So she grounded me until I turned 18, which was about 3 months. So I had no TV, no phone, nothing. I just had to go to school and then come home. So my friend Todd just like gave me a guitar and wrote down the chords to like all the songs for his band The Snails, and I just like learned how to play them. And then but it was like ska punk and stuff like that. And then yeah, once I turned 18, I joined that band and like started hanging out with him again, and went back to like looking up ska shit and just got like really, really into like traditional stuff. And that band ended up being like, it went from like a ska punk band to like traditional sounding, kind of like the Slackers, Westbound Train ish type of thing. And I was in that band for about 9 years, and then I quit it.
Damn.
And then I started Catbite.
Ooh.
I
Yeah.
think that Eric from the Holophonics, that's what he said he remembers you from. He's like,
The Snails?
Yeah.
The Snails, yeah.
Yeah,
on the
that's
episode, he was like, oh yeah, I knew Tim when he was in the Snails. Yeah.
Yeah, that was like the band that like, so we were like the backing band for King Django, who was in Stubborn All Stars and stuff like that. And he's the one that really like put us through the King Django boot camp, which is fucking brutal. But like, I owe him so much because like I learned how to play like ska, like real ska, like how a Jamaican would play ska, like everything from like everything, what the right hand does, what the left hand does when I'm playing guitar, and like the vocals and the, how it's recorded. And then, yeah, like that was the band that like I really got to travel all across the country and meet all these ska people when ska was not cool at all. Cause I joined that in like 2009 when I graduated high school. And, yeah, it was like basically we moved to Philly because we're from like an hour and a half outside of Philly, and moved to Philly right when the Philly ska scene died, which I didn't know that until a couple years later. I'm like, wow, there's no ska here. I thought there'd be ska in this big city. Turns out like there was a huge ska scene in Philly and it all fucking died. And so we were like the only ska band, and we go on tour and we play with like these, ska bands all across the country, and no one would come out because no one likes ska. And then, yeah, it was just funny, like quit that band because and then started Catbite, and then
I feel like that's the same year Rockabilly kind of died too, like 2009.
Really?
Or like that, yeah, because I feel like I always, at least once per episode, I bring up my Rockabilly past. I feel like because it was always like the same, like at least to where I'm from, it was like the Rockabilly kids and the ska kids all went to like the same shows.
Yeah, and like the
kind of
psychobilly
same vibe.
shit, and like
Yeah, it was like all together, and I feel like
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
because I was big into it, like junior high school, and then yeah, right after that. It's like when I was 19 would be 2009. So that's when it was kind of like dying off. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's probably when I wasn't even going to those shows.
Yeah, I remember going to Necromantic. No, it's Necromantics. I went to see the Necromantics at the church in Philly. I was so excited. I'm like, fuck yeah, Necromantics. There was like 8 people there in like a 500 capacity venue. And it was like,
crazy.
yeah, it was like, oof. It was so depressing.
They usually actually do really well here.
Yeah.
Well, the last time that Stomp did a showcase in Edmonton, when that was the Planet Smashers show.
Yeah.
It was like 5 rockabilly, psychobilly acts, and then the Planet Smashers.
That's
And it was
sick.
full. Like
It
it
was
was
full.
full.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, like some old ass fucking ska band from whenever, just like filling up the place.
That's awesome.
Maybe
And
it's
then our,
coming
like-
back, you know?
Yeah. I mean, Tiger Army's doing that tour with Interrupters.
I
That's
think
true,
Tiger
that's true.
Army can pull the emo edge that's coming back.
True.
You know?
Yeah, they're riding that
You know
shit
what I
too.
mean? I think so.
Yeah.
Tiger Army never die.
They
That's
never
what they
die.
say.
Man,
Such a
that's-
short, pretty man with guyliner.
and he used to play in AFI back in the day.
Wait, really?
Yeah, I believe so. I want to say, or did I fuck that up? I feel like he did.
I think they're friends. They're friends.
definitely
up.
friends.
They're
They're
definitely
definitely
friends.
friends.
up.
Yeah. I believe it.
So, Britt, how about yourself? What is your
Yeah.
ska origin
What's your
story?
checkered past?
Yeah, what's your checkered past?
Well, it's not as
A
much
year
as
after Catbite started.
Tim's. Yeah, well, so like I grew up in Fort Lauderdale.
That's the
And-
place that I watch a lot of Below Deck. That's where the yachties live.
Yeah. I've never seen Below Deck, but I know people really like it. Maybe I should start watching.
It's
but
no, I'm a garbage person who only like inserts trash into their eyeballs. You'll be fine without it, but
I really like trash TV, so probably
Okay.
wouldn't- I probably would like it.
Yeah. We
But,
both do.
yeah, so I grew up in Fort Lauderdale, and like, I don't know, just like, I know there's a ska scene there, but like, I was never really involved with it growing up. And I really did not, like, I knew about Les and Jake, and I knew about Real Big Fish, and like, I kind of just, I think I like grew up with like the notion of, you know, ska sucks. And so I never tried looking into it or never tried digging in. And then I moved to Philly in 2013, and I met Tim actually, and I went and saw the Snails,
okay.
and I was like, damn, like this is sick. And truly, like, truly,
yeah.
truly,
We're
like,
pretty good. We're pretty good.
no, they were really good, and I was like, this shit is great. And Tim is really like the person who kind of introduced me to like, I think we probably, you started like introducing me to, I think, like traditional Jamaican ska, because at that point I think that's like what the Snails were like about at that point. So that was like my introduction. And then from there I kind of just started listening to two-tone, and like, I mean, the OC ska is I like, and I have like an appreciation for. I still feel like it's not like my favorite, maybe. But I don't know. It hasn't been that long that I've been in the ska scene, I think. So
I mean, it's been like what 7 years now that you've been really like listening to ska. And,
I
like,
guess, yeah.
and especially like when we started talking about forming Catbite,
Yeah.
we were just like, you know, what do we like? What kind of ska? Because like,
Well, so I went to school for music, and I started studying classical, and I never really found like my passion singing or performing classical. And then when I came to Philly, I graduated in jazz, like
Oh, cool.
jazz voice performance, and I really was like, I'm gonna be a jazz singer. Except for that, nobody really likes jazz.
They do in like Japan, or like it's a weird.
Yeah.
I have a client who is a jazz singer,
oh yeah,
and she's always like flying places, but like it's
Yeah.
not, it doesn't seem in North America
yeah,
that like being a jazz vocalist. Yeah,
yeah. It was, and like in
that's cool though. That's
I-
like insanely technical, like
I
as far as like like being a vocalist.
Yeah, and I mean, I do still really love jazz, and I really love performing jazz, but I don't know, I think I still had not like really found like what like made me happy on stage, like the music that really felt right, I guess. And then when Tim and I decided to start like doing covers, but like making them ska, was like how I don't know, I just, because I had been listening to ska too, I think like I really found like my love for it.
mhm.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, like, especially because, like, all that, like, I mean, ska is formed from R&B and jazz and calypso and, like, all this stuff that you studied.
Yeah,
And, like, that's why it's so...
feels like
it
the
just
most
feels so
natural
natural
for me,
because, like, also you like pop music and rock and roll music, and, like, that's kind of what we do when we write
R&B.
Catbite songs. It's kind of a conglomerate, which that's where ska originally came from. So it's like
Yeah.
you already have those jazz roots and those R&B roots and pop roots and stuff, and then your appreciation for ska after listening to it for these past couple years.
Yeah.
It's the sound that you guys have going, which is like, you know, what I like punked up two-tone, rock steady, that kind of energy. That's really the Canadian sound of ska. Like when you think of Canadian bands like the Planet Smashers, the Apparatus, the Kingpins, like so when
that's our jam.
That's our jam.
That's our jam.
So we're always like, whenever like Catbite stuff is like, we're like, oh my god, this is the best because this is our style of music.
I specifically am very burnt out on the like third wave OC sound.
Yeah,
I have a very tough time. Yeah, I also have like a running. It's not a bit because it's real. It's like I am getting burnt out on ska from the podcast, but I like genuinely enjoyed listening to the specials. But it's like. It's different. It's legit. Yeah. It's like legit music. It's legit music by legit people,
right?
Of the culture.
Yeah,
you can't deny it. There's no like. I mean, it's their own roots. There's no like appropriation. Like, you know, it's like a nice, like clean way to enjoy the music.
Yeah, and it's so like eclectic. Like their discography is just so eclectic. It's not kind of like the same thing over and over and over and over again.
The songs actually stand out. Like even though you'd think a two-tone record wouldn't, like the specials do. A lot of two-tone bands, to their credit or not, like, you know, you put on a record and you don't notice when a song changes, but I don't feel that way with the specials.
Yeah. We'll talk about that when we get into the band more, but the thing with two-tone that I've noticed with the bands is they're so, like the ska-ness of it was very like a phoenix. Like they would just release one big pure ska record and like a year later they would release a second follow-up that was nothing like the first one. They were like, nope, we did the ska thing, we're moving on.
Yeah.
Like,
it's crazy.
Happened to Madness, happened to Selector, definitely happened to Specials, so we'll be talking about that.
Yeah.
But what's the significance of the specials to you, if any?
Well, they were definitely the first two-tone band that I listened to because they were the only two-tone band that I knew about. And
there's only 5.5 of them, so
yeah. I don't know. It's just like I think they were kind of like when I was kind of discovering traditional music, traditional ska and stuff with my friend Todd. They were kind of like the only English band that we were kind of also listening to at the same time. I don't know. Like I really just like, it's wild. I never really got into like Madness or, basically any of the, like the beat that much until like the past couple years. I don't know. It just like, for some reason the Specials was just like this band that like caught my attention.
I feel the same way. Yeah, because like a lot of those bands I didn't take to, or it'd be like a couple songs. But like listening back, I was like, yeah, for some reason as like a young teen, I wouldn't think that this would catch my attention because I feel like I appreciate this style of ska a lot more as I get older. Because it's pretty like low key. And I'd say like, by my own opinion as a youngster listening to like psychobilly, I'd be like, this is boring, but it's not. It's like really like there's something about the Specials specifically that's like so good.
Yeah,
and Little Bitch,
like I think
that was my dad. Oh, sorry to interrupt. Dad's Dance Revolution. Little Bitch was on it. That's
yeah. Like I think I was really into punk and I was really into traditional shit, and this kind of floated between them, whereas a lot of the other like two-tone bands kind of were a little too 80s sounding, a little too new wave, which now I'm like I like, but my like 17, 16, 18-year-old self was not about it. I was like, what is this shit? It just kind of it sounds kind of like raw, and it still has like that traditional ska feel. It has that rock like reggae feel, and just kind of feels like a punk band is doing traditional shit, which is basically what the Specials were and how they kind of created that two-tone sound.
Yeah, I feel like I think what I like the most about the Specials is what I think that Catbite tries to do too is like, not for all our songs, but like put like really meaningful words to like dancey kind of like pop music, where like you could be like, yeah, and then you're talking about like anxiety or like addiction or something like that. I don't know. So kind of, you could be listening, but then listen again, and you hear like something completely different.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Just like, it's deep shit.
Well, you could like it on deep shit. You can like it on
Deep
like
shit.
an easy like melody level, but then
Right.
when you re-listen and you realize that you like also resonate with the message and the lyrics, and
Right.
you're like, this band aligns with my values. It's like you're just
Exactly.
like, oh, this song, like
Yeah.
I fucking love. That's like what to me, the difference between like liking a song and like loving a song a lot of times is just like the message and the lyrics.
Same.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's as good a time as any to talk about the specials. So we're going to enter the Time Skachine.
Those- It's gonna come again. That's my first time hearing that. With
That's
Wow.
pretty good.
my vocals.
Huge fan of
That's
that.
sick.
I was trying to be a therapist.
Oh, that was bit. They provided that Time Skachine theme.
Oh,
with
that's funny.
Celine on the vocals.
Stupid.
I love it.
What would I do with my time?
So today we're talking about the specials. I'm going to get hosed and roasted so bad on doing this. So bear with me.
You are a hoser.
I am a hoser. I heard somewhere that hoser had to do with like huffing gas. Is that right, Joey? I'm looking
Well,
at you.
then
Like,
it
that's
I
the
don't
thing.
know,
it
but
adds
you're a
up.
real hosehead.
Oh yeah, I just heard something like that.
Thanks for coming on the mic, Joey, for
Yeah.
that.
Okay, now get off.
Push that away.
Yeah, get that way. So my primary sources for the Time Skachine today was a really awesome Mojo retrospective that it had interviews with all the bands, almost like an oral history, if you will.
Okay.
I also pulled some stuff from Horace Panter's book, Ska'd for Life, which is
Sick.
a really good read. So this is the most. I did my best to do as much stuff as I could, but obviously I'm going to miss some details. So listeners, if you want to give me some shit for it, totally go for it. This is the most notes I've had to put into anything because the specials have a very robust history.
I know nothing about them, so I
Yeah.
am excited.
And so we're going to cover 77 to 84. Those are the years. So anything after that, we're not going to get into, and any of the formative years up to that, we're probably not going to get too much into. Just the
And remember, you can shit on Rob about it.
yeah, I've said it a couple of times, but I'm putting a target on my back. So let's tarry no
Okay.
further. The Time Skachine takes us to the year 1977 in Coventry, England, in the UK. As a response to the rise of prog rock and disco, punk rock has taken the world by storm. The rising popularity of The Clash,
Oi.
the Sex Pistols.
Ugh.
Oh,
This is oi.
I thought you were gonna do one for everyone. Clash says "oi."
Okay.
Sex Pistols say "ugh."
Oh.
Yeah.
This is like one of those like spinning animal things.
Yeah.
And the Ramones say,
Gabba.
Gabba,
Hey.
Joey. I keep wanting to do it, Joey Ramone, but it's coming out as the Beatles. I'm Joey Ramone. Joey, is this kind of Joey Ramone?
yeah. Right from the streets of New York.
Okay.
Joey Ramone. What was I saying? Oh, yeah, okay.
The Beatles.
I got 3 lines in and then we already got on a tangent. So, bubbling under the punk rock explosion was working class cross-culture integration, especially between Jamaican expats and the local stiffs, creating a love of each other's backgrounds and music. This, of course, included Jamaican popular music such as ska by the Skatalites, Rocksteady by Desmond Decker, and reggae tracks by David Ansel Collins. It's only a matter of time that a ragtag group of locals decided to smash these two styles together. And they were called the Automatics. No, the Coventry Automatics. No, the Specials. No, the Special AKA. Whatever, we'll just call them the Specials. Otherwise it gets too confusing.
Is that all their names they had for them?
I feel like they had more.
There's a lot of
That's
names.
wild.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
And then it's like different if there's like other members of other bands in there, like the Special Beat. is, like,
Okay,
the
that's
thing.
fun.
Yeah.
They have several versions of their lineup
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, kinda.
and
Like-
and different collabs.
Yeah, kinda. It didn't seem like it made any sense because they would
Okay.
just like pick a different name,
Yeah.
That's fun.
like randomly, like in the
that's
middle
that's
of
punk rock.
to just be like, we're a different band now.
Yeah, deal with it.
We're now called Catbite. That was for somebody.
That was the only response it deserved. A pity laugh by your guest. I'm just kidding.
A pity laugh. Try my best to make a reference. So by 1979, the band had locked in their first lineup that consisted of keyboardist Jerry Dammers, vocalist Terry Hall, toaster Neville Staple, guitarist Linville Golding and Roddy Radiation, bassist Horace Panter, and drummer John Bradbury. That's the classic lineup of the Specials.
Best toaster in the game.
Neville Staple, you think so? Oh, what about Cooley?
Cooley ranks.
Love
Yeah.
Cooley.
Oh my god, I love Cooley.
That's a toughie. It's tough to give the number one spot.
True.
You're giving it to Cooley?
I give it to Cooley Ranks. I feel
Cooley-
like Cooley Ranks has some real fat toast,
Right.
like on those
Yeah.
Toasters records.
You're right.
Yeah.
When you're
Yeah.
right, you're right.
I love Cooley. Oh my god. Cool guy.
Kamoy was telling me that he ran into Cooley in the wild. He was just at a show, and he said, I just looked to my left, and Cooley Ranks was just standing there.
That's wild.
Watching
That's-
Stop the Presses.
That's the thing. Cooley is so fucking supportive. Like
Yeah.
I've known Cooley for probably like 10 years now, and just like every time I go to Brooklyn or New York City, he's there. I run into him.
That's so
he's at the
cool.
show.
So he's-
Like yeah.
Supports Ska still.
Oh yeah.
greatest
That's
dude.
really cool. That's nice. Neville was on that track, Say Ferris.
He sure was on a random Safe Ferris track.
Yeah.
He's the original Rude Boy.
Yeah.
He was also on the Talks. Do you remember the Talks?
No.
No? Am I the only one who remembers the Talks? They were like an English band for like 2 years, and they had this big song with Neville Staple on it, and then they just disappeared.
No. It's just a Rob thing.
All right.
The internet might rally up upon you.
We'll see. They never do. Not for me. Only for you. The beginnings of the band were as messy and complicated as you'd imagine from a stylistic mashup band. Golding would frequently have to show Horace Panter how to play bass because he couldn't figure out how to do ska right. The members' individual style was wildly different. So if you think the Specials, you're like, oh, they're all wearing tonic suits. Well, when they first started, they were all like all those weird 70s UK cultures, like Teddy Boys and like skinheads, and there were all these different ones. And like Roddy Radiation was like an early punk with like the spiky hair and everything.
Okay.
So they didn't really gel. Like there's even like from a musical standpoint, when they first started, they would just kind of like play a punk song and then play like a reggae song and then play a punk song. They weren't like putting it together properly.
Okay.
So where things changed is when Jerry hooked up with The Clash. So The Clash plays big into the formation of the Specials
Boy.
because that's like The Clash. The Clash needed an opening band, and the one that they had didn't show up, or they had a conflict or something. So they were looking for different bands, and the Specials stepped in because Neville Staple had a lot of weed. And Mick Jones
Relatable.
Yeah. And Mick Jones basically just brought him on because he'd have weed all the time.
Weed band. They're a weed band.
There we
Weed
go.
band.
The Clash are a big weed band.
The Clash are a big weed band.
Said it once, I'll say it again.
Yeah.
Spliffs for days. They were the original hashtag 420.
Yeah.
Hashtag 420, babe.
So while they were on tour, the Clash and Specials, the National Front started showing up. So National Front, bunch of Nazis.
Yeah.
We don't know who they are.
Boo.
Because there was so apparently at this time, like when right before Maggie Thatcher got elected, there was actually a
Boo.
big far right party like connected to the National Front that was losing seats. So you think Maggie Thatcher, and you think like crazy right wing.
Yeah. There was something
way more to the right.
She was like
than-
radical.
No, she was like the centrist right as opposed to these radical rights.
Still bad.
So they needed people, and so they started infiltrating all these punk and ska shows. That's how skinheads started to go towards the National Front. It wasn't natural because skinhead culture is Jamaican culture, right?
Yes.
Right.
So, but it was actually a targeted effort from the National Front to go to punk shows, find skinheads, and recruit them.
Flip them.
Flip them.
Yeah, kind of. And so,
Basically, yeah.
They can have a show on HGTV. Flip them.
like on the Magnolia Network.
Yeah.
The National Front is just like renovating houses in southern Texas.
Yeah.
It's not bad. Do you want to?
You know, I
wanna
think a
produce the show?
Confederate flag would look amazing right there.
You know what I love about this house
If
is
we
your
knock down
Ska'd.
this wall, we can put 2 Confederate flags right there.
Yeah, that's all it is.
Mhm.
Just
I don't.
Confederate flags.
I like a closed concept.
Stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah, more walls.
More walls.
More walls, more flags.
More walls.
Yeah, it's good, Rob.
good? Okay, thank
That's
you.
good.
That's good.
Yeah.
Uh,
So this spurred them to say, you know, fuck this. Like, we don't want skinheads here, or like the National Front recruiting all the skinheads. We need to make an effort to go out of our way to be a cohesive unit so that everybody feels welcome at our shows. That's when they started adopting the fashion, the tonic suits, the short hair, skinny ties, pork pie hats, all that jazz was an effort to show that, you know, black and white people are in this band. We're all
and they
the
wanted
same.
to separate themselves from the
Yeah.
skinhead culture.
Well, it's not even just that. It's just like we're all unified. It's
Just
kind of
unified.
the message.
And that's
right?
what the Madness did not do.
Right.
And that's
Yes.
why
So it's a little
they're
bit different
up for
at their
criticism.
shows.
Yeah. More skinheads are into them. Anyways.
And this is the time when the Specials basically got rid of a lot of the reggae, went straight to just straight up ska, and all of their songs, their original songs that they were playing, would have more social and political messages. And basically did what they could to make the National Front completely unwelcome in their shows. Here's what Jerry had to say. You get this fantastic feeling of togetherness playing ska because no one individual could do it on their own. It all interlocks. You get this communal feeling between the musicians on stage, and that spreads into the audience like a fever. That's why the Specials gigs and the two-tone gigs were the wildest the country had ever seen. They were just absolutely fucking incredible.
Oh.
Yeah,
I agree. I would agree with that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Do you find that still the same? Like, I'm wondering, like, so you would have toured before the pandemic and then after, like, I'm curious, like, how has shows changed, you know, in the last, like, 4 years?
A lot. Change that shows.
That's
up.
it.
Yeah. No, it's wild.
No, yeah,
like,
yeah.
No, like there's like this energy. I'm like, as especially like for me, that's been playing ska shows for like 12 years now, and it's like it's always had like this cool energy of, especially like people that have dedicated their lives to ska, and like, you know, they're really in the culture. But I don't know, like ever since we've started playing shows again in the past year, there's like this new energy.
There's definitely a new energy. I feel like it's almost because of everything that's happened. People are like I have to like take this experience and fully like take it in, and you know, because it could be lost again or it could be taken again.
Yeah,
kind of.
Like there's like, it might be just like music in general, but like it's like, you know, you know what you might not get again, and it's
I
like
feel
Almost
people-
took it for granted.
Yeah,
I feel like
exactly.
people
Oh,
are less
absolutely.
afraid to be a fan,
Mhm.
if that makes sense. Like, specifically, Edmonton's always been good for that. Like, we don't care about like looking lame, like,
Yeah.
and just being like, I love you, I'm singing along every song, and I'm up front. And I feel like recently went to a show in Vancouver, and it was a punk band, but typically Vancouver's a little too cool for school.
Yeah.
I feel like there was way more people just like enjoying themselves and like
Yeah.
being into it unapologetically. I don't know if you've noticed that.
I think that is very much the case too. Like
Yeah.
people, I don't know. You're there to see a band that you really love, so like, why would you just be like?
Yeah, I also think
you know, where like before, because I feel like the energy kind of shifted. Where like, I mean, especially at ska shows, it's like everybody is welcome, like, and whatever type of music you like to listen to, whatever. But like, enjoy yourself, have fun, and like people see that, and then it kind of like permeates to the next person. Like they also want to be like feel that enjoyment, and so then they're having a good time. And I don't know.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
also the same thing goes for the performers, because it's like it almost became like routine. Just like, you know, you go to your show, you play your show, it's like, yeah, this can just keep happening and happening and happening. It's like when you don't fucking play a show for a year and a half,
Sucks.
like there's nothing you want more in life to get on stage and just go fucking insane.
Yeah.
And now it's like even though we've been playing shows since last August, it's just like we know that like at the drop of a hat this could happen again, and this could be our last show, because like
Yeah.
And it's like, so every show is like 2,000%. Like you go to the and that's like,
which I think people like feel in the audience. So then they're like so excited and giving us energy back, and then we're feeling that and we're like throwing it back, and it's just like, I don't know.
Everyone's feeding off of like this excited energy. Also, like specifically the ska scene, like has like it's more like, I don't know, for me to see someone like you who's this like cute petite like punk rock chick on stage just like giving it your all, you know, and like we're seeing like ourselves more represented, and like there's more like seeing a lot more like Black people, non-binary people, like way more queer and femmes. Like I think that's really exciting too. Like it's like I can only get so excited about a 50-some-year-old white dude.
Yeah. And another thing,
unless it's Reese Roper, then I can get really excited about him. I'm just kidding.
Another thing that I noticed is just like, because everyone had a year and a half of literally nothing but internet, it's been able to like grow the scene, and like we've made so many friends in the past year and a half, 2 years, of people that like I never would have known existed, and like, you know, this band in Bumblefuck here, this band in Bumblefuck here, because they're on the internet and they're doing their thing, and like we're becoming friends, and we're like doing like collabs and stuff, and like talking on the internet, and just like everyone being forced to be on the internet and being forced to like change the way that they are expanding their brand or their band. It's like, you know, you're getting all these bands that would have never had the opportunity to like, you know, come to Philadelphia. They're coming to us on our screens, and we're finding out about them, and same, you know, vice versa. And like we're
because you think like before the pandemic, normally like you start your band and then play local shows, and then eventually you like try to branch out to other cities, but like most of those cities that you go to, like people don't really know who you are unless they go to the show, and then so like maybe a few people find out about you, and then you continue to grow. But like with social media, it's been a lot easier, I think, too.
Especially because it's a lot of newer bands that know how to fucking use social media. Whereas, like the younger bands, we're fucking hungry because we're new and we're ready to tour the world, and then everything happened, and so we're like, we're not giving up now. We're gonna like, you know, try and do our best to like keep this going, even though we can't leave our houses.
And the younger fans know how to like hear about your shows because they're on the internet and they're interacting.
Yeah.
So, you're not relying on like seeing a show poster on a pole, and you just happen to walk by it.
Exactly. Yeah.
My old method of going to shows.
Yeah, that was my old method. Yeah.
Ooh, they're playing.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Maybe I can go there right now.
Yeah.
Well, that's sweet. Just hope you get invited to a Facebook show.
Exactly. Now you got everything.
Yeah.
Ugh, Facebook.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's bad. It's
yeah,
so bad.
I had to leave it a couple months ago. I was just like every day,
place.
just like anxiety attacks of just like.
I recently had to. There was like all these like old punk rockers sharing that like Elon Musk meme about them staying the same, but everyone else is going farther left, and now they're being called conservative, even though their values haven't changed. And that was like, and then I just like called everyone out, and then I deleted Facebook because I couldn't handle the anxiety. But. But I couldn't leave it. And then I was like, okay, this is just not for you. Like, I think it just is for like right-leaning people now for whatever reason.
Yeah.
They can have the metaverse. They can have the metaverse.
It, please.
Yeah. take
my metaverse.
Please take it. Yeah.
Oh, you were doing the same thing? All right.
Yeah. Please take my wife, but please take my metaverse. Yeah.
All right. Let's go back to it. Actually, why don't we take a break? And then when we get back, it's basically song time. Cool. So let's take a quick break, and then it's specials. Cool.
Yeah. Catbite. Meow, 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 meow.
Oh, that was good. Yeah, you meow everything. Welcome back to Checkered Past. We're here with Catbite talking about the specials. And we left off at the formative years of the band, and we're right about time to talk about their first recorded efforts. So, to make things as DIY as possible, Jerry formed the record label Two Tone. Ever heard of it? Inspired by Stiff Records, they did everything themselves, including drawing their mascot, Walt Jabsco, which is just a line drawing of Peter Tosh from the Wailers.
Okay.
The label had a singular purpose at this time: to put out one song, Gangsters. which is a minor reworking of Prince Buster's Al Capone.
That's the first
Yes.
one?
Mhm.
Was Gangsters?
Yeah, the B-side to the single is The Selector, which they played with like Noel Davies and a member of the Specials recorded it because The Selector wasn't even a band yet. So it was because they released it as a B-side that
Damn.
The Selector became a band.
Huh.
So the song Gangsters is about a tour date that they had in Paris where there was a club promoter that flashed a gun at them. So, I don't know. Well, let's listen to it. Let's listen to Gangsters. Why don't we?
Yeah.
This is a sneaky one. I didn't hear it a ton before, I feel like. But it's fucking good.
This is the Al Capone part.
Spooky. Spooky.
How do you feel about the overtly Englishness?
Love it.
Joey's grooving.
That's a fun little tasty lick.
I just like that part.
That's sick.
Don't call me Scarface. Anyway, it's great. That song's awesome.
I just don't understand how something can be so low key, but also so like so much of a dancing banger. You know what I mean? Like something that's so chill, it just makes you want to dance.
I
Yeah.
love Terry's
Same time.
like monotone singing style almost.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's spooky and overtly British,
Yeah.
which is discussed in our Madness March episode. Is the things I like.
Yeah.
Funky and
I
British.
like when you're over. I like when you're not ashamed to full Brit talk, Brit speak.
So,
and I like God. That sounds like a ghost is doing it.
Yeah, it's like kind of haunting.
so I heard a rumor that this song was like dedicated to Bernie Rhodes from The Clash because he was like the one that flashed the gun at them. And I think I just looked it up and that's like, so they were on tour with The Clash and Bernie Rhodes, the manager, he was briefly managing the Specials. And I guess they were held responsible for damage in a hotel room that was caused by The Damned, the band.
Oh,
And
The
yeah,
Specials were?
yeah, and then that's why they did this song, I think.
because I think he says Bernie Rhodes up at the. I think Neville says it. at
Yeah,
the
yeah.
top of the song.
Dave Vanian's just a little scamp messing up a hotel room and blaming the Specials.
Yeah.
That's fun. I
With
like that.
With like 3D.
I thought
glasses
he
or
was
something.
neat.
No, he's dirty.
Dirty, dirty.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's good.
I feel like I deserved more.
We've just the title of your autobiography.
I feel like I deserve more. So, Gangsters was such a smash hit, thanks John Peel, that it got the band huge tours even before releasing their debut album, including performing the song on Saturday Night Live in the US. The performance was legendary as the band performed at lightning speed, made no eye contact with the audience,
Ha.
and played with an uncaged energy. You can watch it on the YouTubes.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah, that's
amazing.
sweet.
It's very good.
So this is when the band was then hooked up with Elvis Costello, who helped get their debut off the ground and manned the producer chair. By this time, Two Tone was bought under the umbrella of Chrysalis, the major label, increasing the band's exposure. Gangsters left to the side, crammed in 14 more tracks to make the debut, mixing covers with originals, and just being super pissed off about everything the whole time, channeling their punk roots and matching it to party ska and rocksteady.
So fun.
They recruited Dick Cuthell to perform some horns, as well as Rico Rodriguez to perform trombone, some sick ass trombone. The album hit number 4 in the UK, and its lead single, A Message to You, Rudy, which is a cover, hit number 10, entrenching ska as a major art form from the UK. Let's play A Message to You, Rudy.
Melodica Gang Rise Up.
Just, were you waiting for it? Joey was just here waiting for a lot.
think of the future.
It doesn't stray much.
Time is straighten right out. Creating problems in town. Routine. A message to you, routine. A message to you.
Hell yeah.
So good.
Also, there is a sick bone solo in there.
Yeah.
It's very good.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's not my number one. I like it, but it's
let's
not
talk-
my number
let's
one.
talk
It's not my
over-
number
We'll
one.
talk overall then. The Specials self-titled album.
Yeah.
Lynn, let's start with you. What are your thoughts?
Oh my god! See, I have no memory. I don't know what's on what. Like I could tell you this little bitch on this. I
Yes.
don't know. Then yeah, that one. And
Great one. This is so
okay, well, that's my number one. Hold on.
That's your number one. So
Yeah,
you've ranked the songs.
I'm going in.
Yeah.
This is really fun.
after-
Too Much Too Young is really good. Monkey Man.
Monkey Man's
Monkey
cover.
Man's so fun. It's a cover.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Toots.
Big time. That's Toots and
Toots?
Maytals, my man.
I actually really, really love. Well, there's only a certain version that has gangsters on it.
The US version had gangsters.
I really
yeah.
like gangsters.
Yeah, the one
Concrete
just
Jungle, but it's
That's
there's a
one.
live version.
Uh,
Ooh, yeah, that's the one.
look at those. Look at them. With the-
Oh, Do the
Hey.
Dog. I love Do the Dog, not the Donkey.
It's so
Yeah.
good. Not the donkey.
Yeah, not the Donkey.
There's just
the
a
original.
lot-
Do you think that's where Shrek got it from?
I really hope so.
yeah.
Probably
Donkey?
not, but I hope so.
Yeah.
I hate how I love how earwormy everything is. Like after I listened to it, I just was walking around the house just going, spending money on
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
finishing it.
Yeah.
Spending money on.
There's just
It's
so
very
many little
obnoxious.
fun things to say.
hmm
It's so mad. Like they're so mad. Like when you like listen to the song, like
Yeah.
versus like we did Madness recently, and Madness is very silly at times, maybe a
Silly,
little pensive.
fun, whatever. Yeah.
If when they get serious, it's more like But like when the Specials get serious, they're just fucking angry as hell.
Mhm.
How about you two? What is your takeaways from this album?
It's just so good.
Almost. I mean, I feel like top to bottom, everyone is like a banger.
Yeah.
Some of them are like top notch, but yeah, I don't know. I feel like I like You're Wondering Now.
Yeah.
That might be my favorite.
I just remember I feel like my first introduction to the Specials was seeing this YouTube video of them performing Monkey Man into Simrip's Skinhead Moonstomp.
Skinhead Moonstomp.
And just like they just invite like 50 people on stage, and it's just like increasingly faster and faster and faster when they get to the Skinhead Moonstomp. And it's just like the video is, I don't even know when the video is from. I haven't watched it in so long, but like I just remember watching that as like a 17, 18-year-old, and just the Snails actually used to end our set every single night with that. We would do Monkey Man into the Specials version of Monkey Man into Skinhead Moonstomp. And it was just like the energy that the crowd has, like just storming the stage. And there's like, by the end of the song, there's like, I don't know, 50, 70 people on stage, and they're just like having the fucking time of their lives. And it's just so catchy, and everyone is just like there for the same reason, just like have fun and like an escape from their shit that they're dealing with.
And actually dance, not just push people around.
Exactly.
It's okay to be, I don't mind being pushed a little bit, but like,
Yeah.
I don't want to be scared for my life.
Yeah.
The Special stage show, especially early on, was chaos. Like nobody stood still for 2 seconds.
Yeah.
No.
Everybody's running around. Even Jerry is like
Yeah.
playing, and he's like dancing. He's kicking his feet out like
Yeah.
like a full 180 degrees away from his body. Like
Yeah.
It'd be impossible to
Yeah.
not feed off of that energy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And considering how quote low key.
I know, but
Like-
it isn't. That's why it's kind
but
of
it's so
fascinating.
energy,
And that's
yeah.
why, like, I guess I, even as a young person, really.
I think it also has to
Took
do with
to it.
how the album is produced.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking Elvis Costello, which is like, so it's wild. So like only like maybe 10 years ago, not even that, I like really got into Elvis Costello. Like right now, like Elvis Costello and The Clash are like probably my 2 favorite like musical influences of my life. And I didn't even realize that at first, that like Elvis Costello had actually produced this record. And then when I found out, it was like, this all makes like it all makes sense now. Like, it's just
when you listen to like those early Costello records, like My Aim Is True.
Oh yeah, My Aim Is
I
True.
can't remember the second one is with Radio.
Yeah,
but, like those are like, it has the same kind of feel.
Exactly. Sure. It's just like, I don't know. Every song is just like so perfectly thought of, but like not over. There's no like overthinking going into the songs, but it's like, I don't know. It's really hard to describe, but
they're also not like overproduced either.
Yeah, it's not overproduced. It's just like a raw, almost live, polished live sound.
Yeah.
Like you don't have a bunch of fucking overdubs and like,
yes,
the production is kind of like an afterthought, but at the same time, each song is exactly what needs to be there. There's not too much. There's not too little. Some songs are short, super quick.
You never like left wanting for something more, I feel like.
Yeah, it's just like I don't know, every song serves its purpose. And it's what's up Nacho?
Oh.
He's vibing.
He's like, hell yeah, it does.
Yeah, Nacho really fucks with Elvis Costello too.
He's like, no filler.
Yeah, it's just this is the original all filler no killer. Like it's just really great, and every song is like completely different.
Tweet that.
I might tweet that later. But yeah, like there's it's kind of like, in a way it's thought of as an album, but in another way it's just kind of thought like the specials is an idea. These are the songs that are for this idea. Let's make every single song on this its own little perfection, and then figure out the arrangement. And that's what this record is. It's like,
and then it's so impactful, but again, it's not like a big sound. It's not big.
Yeah, and like,
it's meant to be played in a small club.
Yeah, exactly. And like some of the songs like sound like shit. And like, I don't know, like, I mean, but like in
Neville's
a good
vocals
way.
in Do the Dog
are
like so much mixed so much higher than everything else.
And it's like, what the fuck
but
is
it's
up
like
with that?
endearing.
Yeah, but it's this is like the specials album. I mean, it literally says
it is
the specials.
It's the one.
That's all you need. Like, I don't know. It's cool. It's got like a little bit of punk. It's got a little bit of reggae. It's got a little bit of ska. There's no filler.
We should play a little bitch just because it's Celine's favorite song.
It's so good.
1, 2, go!
Oh yeah, jump in the solo.
Oh, jumping in on the solo. You're getting wild.
Because it's cool.
Solo is so good.
And I know when Big D did the cover, they said they tried to get one stage the same way as that.
Yeah.
Organs appreciating these lines, like in early coasters.
1, 2! I didn't think about time that you died, and
I just think at the time that you died.
Yeah, they're just pissed off about it.
If you attempted suicide, you didn't do it.
and if you think you're gonna bleed all over again, you're even stronger than you normally be. And the only things you wanna see are kids. The only thing you wanna be is rich. Your little thing up on your nose, big as a twitch. I know you're just a little bitch.
So good.
Ugh.
It's the best song.
It's so good.
It's one of the best songs.
Yeah.
And so I want to dovetail into this because the band released Dovetail. Ooh. So they released that's not the first time we did that. I just am like so casual about some of the like stupid running jokes we do. What were we doing the other? I can't remember. There was something else that we were doing the other day that I still do in real life. So there's the live EP that came out shortly after this one. The special AKA Live is the most perfect EP ever released in my opinion.
Whoa.
It is so fucking good. The Too Much Too Young Live, and then Guns of Navarone, and then the Skinhead Symphony.
Right.
It's only 3 tracks, and like that's a medley at the end. I know it's only 3 tracks, but like, and it gives you everything you want to know about what the specials were like live.
Mm-hmm.
We won't play that one, so it's number 5. But let's listen to it just to give a little taste.
Too much too young. You know too much too young. You're married with a kid when you could
when you do the guitar stuff. Yeah, super. That's Roddy.
I want one.
I feel like I took that message to heart really seriously when I was
Too much too
young.
young.
Yeah, I was just like, oh man, don't get knocked up.
So
be a kid forever. Be a kid forever.
The very idea of this song was super controversial in the UK. Like it's a number one record, number one EP.
Why was it controversial?
Because they promote contraception.
Yeah,
It was
that's
a big-
great.
and
Yeah,
so
duh. I took it seriously. I was like,
censored.
I don't want that.
They censored out a part where he says put a condom on.
Because they want like
They want babies.
God's will.
Yeah. I guess.
Oh, God.
God's will. Everyone should have like 1,000 babies. But we want nothing to do with taking care of them after. We're just obsessed with them being born.
Fuck that.
We don't give a shit about them any other step of the way.
Nope.
That's fine. Everyone get a vasectomy if you can. That's my new PSA. Who knows what's going to happen?
Mm-hmm.
Snip, snip, boys.
Snip.
Snip, snip. Snip, snip.
Snip, snip, boys.
Snip, snip, boys. I'm going to get like a shirt that just says snip, snip, boys.
New merch.
I'm down.
New merch. It's going to be like the new like Shania Twain. Like, all right, boys. Snip,
Hi,
snip,
boys.
boys.
Snip, snip.
Boys.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's do it.
Yeah. We're doing that as like a commercial. I'm gonna get like I'll dress up as Shania Twain and I'll just like look back in a wind machine. I'll be like, snip, snip, boys. I'll tip my cowboy hat.
That sounds great. I
love
would put
Shania
my
Twain.
money on that.
Yeah.
I would do that.
Same.
The GoFundMe started.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you guys feel about that song?
Love it. I love Shania Twain.
That's what. I don't think that's what you meant, but that was pretty good.
Oh,
But it's what I wanted.
I mean,
It's what I needed.
I do
Not
love
your
Shania. She rules.
she rules.
She
love
rules.
her.
She's amazing. She's a Canadian darling. We're proud.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you for Shania Twain.
Yeah,
I take.
it was for me. It was for
responsibility.
me. I'm responsible for Shania Twain.
Yeah,
My name is Celine.
You're welcome.
Celine Dion.
Yeah. Ooh.
Ooh.
Somebody posted on Twitter that they didn't, until they listened to the podcast for the first time, didn't realize that's how you say your name.
Yeah, that's fair.
I mean, that's me right
Most-
now, so.
No,
Well, I
it's
mean,
most people say Celine. It's not a big deal. I'm still white. It's not that offensive.
It's just so French. It's just so normal.
It's just
up
so
here.
French Canadian. That's all.
So the band was touring aggressively, doing 2 shows a night, and beginning to hate each other. Elvis Costello wanted to fire Roddy Radiation for playing too much like the Clash.
I mean,
and Jerry's resistance to fame was making him lash out at the press. And Neville Staples was mad because the band kept turning down limo rides in hotels. So he said, It's very funny. I was getting pissed off. Maybe they came from a background where they were privileged, but the rest of us didn't. So let's enjoy it a bit. You get a limousine sent. Who wants to go in the van with the gear?
No.
Fuck that. I'm from the streets. Let me live a little bit.
That would be
Honestly, fair.
I would say
That's
the
Brit.
exact same thing.
Brit's like,
Hell yeah, give me that limo.
That's the original Rude Boy right there.
Yes. Okay.
Yep,
Yeah, fair.
And why stop there? It's 1980 after all, so you can't wait too long before releasing another single. So 3 months later, they released the single Rat Race, which we can play a little bit of because it's not really on an album, so why not?
yeah.
Fair.
Your favorite kind of discussion.
They get spooky often.
You're working at your leisure to learn the things you need. The promises you make tomorrow carry no guarantee. I see you qualifications. You got a PhD. I got one at O level. It did nothing for me. Working on the right trace. You know you're wasting your time. Working on the right trace. You know, friend of mine. You plan your conversation.
I love that song.
Yeah,
So
I love
good.
that movie.
That movie fucking rules. That's my favorite movie of all time.
Mr. Bean.
Mr. B.
Oh my
Yeah.
god, that was the first time I
Good
like really saw
I
a
say
tit.
race-
You see the side boob in the one scene? Yeah.
Side boob?
Yeah, there's a side boob scene where
The tongue, she had a tongue piercing.
Yeah, the girl with the tongue piercing.
Or
She's like,
he had the, yeah.
well, they both did.
Or
And
she had a
flashes
nipple. Oh,
them
yeah.
while they're
Yeah.
driving next to each other, and then they
Yeah,
crash.
I remember.
That was like,
Yeah.
so my mom let me buy that while we were at Sam's Club, the Walmart offshoot of Costco, whatever. And we bought that on DVD. I watched that movie so many fucking times.
Just to see the side boob.
Well, I mean, no, like the side boob was the highlight, but the whole movie in general.
I remember the side
Did you
boob.
pause and rewind?
Yeah.
Play, pause.
Yeah. I told you before I didn't have internet, so. Anyways,
I was looking up Night at the Roxbury the other day because I was like, oh, that was a really good movie. I bet that's rated like really well. And I was like looking it up and it's like the critic score is like so low, but then it's like 80% of Google users like this. Like,
Yeah.
and all the reviews, but like critics are like, this is a bad movie, everyone. And then people are like, no, Night at the Roxbury is awesome. We love it. Yeah, baby, don't hurt me no
I
more.
love that movie. I
Yeah.
haven't seen that in so long. I'm gonna watch. Should we watch that after this? We're gonna watch that after this.
The club that's like on the outside but the inside.
Yeah.
That bit, the head bopping.
Yeah.
It's like all perfect. It's perfect. It's a perfect movie.
What a good movie.
Anyways, specials.
The
Specials.
specials. Yeah.
So the Specials had just come off a 6-month tour and wanted to rest, but the offers just wouldn't stop, and their label pressured the band to make a follow-up to strike while the iron's hot. Jerry, as the key songwriter, was already making attempts to get more experimental and wanted to have longer, less predictable songs and add elements of music because he loved elevator music because he heard it for the first time in the U.S.,
Oh, God.
R&B, and easy listening. So the resulting album is More Specials, which was a noted departure from the debut, featuring almost no covers and fewer nods to ska. It was controversial amongst fans, but was a commercial success, peaked at number 5 in the UK, and its singles and Stereotype and Do Nothing peaked at 6 and 4 respectively, in spite of their bleak and aggressively uncommercial tone. Just to kick
Fair.
off the conversation, let's play Do Nothing. That's
Bleak and commercially
Uncommercial.
uncommercially aggressive.
In the essence of time, we'll probably just play this one, but if you want to talk about it. Some bone.
Yeah.
That's why I picked that one. Some sick bone. This album was self-produced by Jerry.
This is like proof that's like style is better than technicality sometimes, where it's like that's just a sound, that's just a vibe with the horn, Brits love being depressed and hate 9 to 5s.
Yeah.
They
Same.
seem to. Yeah, girls same.
So more specials. How do we all feel about it? Celine will start.
No, start on
Start on
Catbite.
Catbite. Okay, Tim already made a noise.
Yeah.
Start with you.
Doesn't hit as hard.
Yeah, I mean, like,
No.
I had to go back and I was like, what was on this album? And I'm just like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
oh yeah, not much. Yeah, it had no punch to it. There was nothing really memorable. Hey Little Rich Girl, that's pretty cool.
I like that song.
That's
Yeah.
probably
Rich
like
Girl's
Jam.
my favorite song
the
on there.
best one on there, which as I just pulled up the Wikipedia to like make sure I had this right. That's by Roddy, my guy Roddy, which makes sense. Yeah, I don't know.
Roddy's the Clash guy. That
Yeah,
makes-
which going back to like why I like the specials so much is because of Rod. I mean, many different reasons, but a lot like as a guitar player, I am very heavily influenced by like Chuck Berry, and which obviously you have Mick Jones, you have Elvis Costello, you have Roddy, and they're all very directly influenced by like Chuck Berry and like Sister Rosetta Tharpe and like that whole like rock and roll guitar awesomeness, which is like a big thing, which why I like the specials so much, because even though they're a ska band and they have these horns, they still aren't afraid to like have these ripping guitar solos. And it's just like that shit, just like whenever I'm like listening to ska and I hear a guitar solo, I'm just like, oh shit. Oh
Yeah.
especially as a guitar player, and like me being like really into blues and like old school rock and roll and like 77 punk. You all have
I like a ripping guitar solo when they're
even
not
if it's like a
afraid to...
simple little like Chuck Berry shit, or like Sister Rosetta Tharpe shit, like I love that, and you can obviously tell that Roddy is like big on that shit, and which I guess maybe that's why I like that song versus every other song on this album.
I think it's being looked at, like I know it's, I don't know how to put this, but like nowadays I think people are looking at these like second two-tone albums, like Celebrate the Bullet and this one, absolutely, and just they're looking at it more fondly. I think people have more patience for it.
Yeah.
I know that's not necessarily for me. I do my overall opinion is that the songs kind of overstay their welcome a little bit. Like they could probably get in and out a little bit faster. Like Stereotype is a long ass song. Holy shit.
I wanted to bring up Pearl's Cafe.
Okay.
I like it.
Okay, you brought it up.
I like. I think it's. I just think like it's all a load
So that was-
of bollocks.
So that was a.
It's all a load of bollocks.
It's one of their original
and
songs
bollocks
from when they were
to it
the
all.
Automatics.
That seems like it could be in a musical for sure.
Well, the opening track is a music hall cover.
Okay.
Like they cover like a vaudeville song.
Yeah,
basically.
so it had that vibe to
Yeah.
me. It could be like an interment.
I think they
could be like
set,
Sweeney Todd.
they set the stage that they're like doing something different.
Yeah.
From the
Yeah.
get-go, they're, like,
And I like their weird harmonies.
they're very bizarre.
Such bizarre harmonies.
Yeah, weird choices.
I'm like, it's almost like cartoony.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
it's just like
It's a choice.
this ain't a punk record.
No.
Like the first record, which like I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Just like this record is just like nothing special to me. It's not bad. It's not good.
it's not more special.
It's not more
It's
special.
not. It's definitely not more special to me.
Would you say it's less special
It's
than
definitely
special?
less
Less.
special than the Specials record.
I get it. More
But-
like less specials.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So more specials is less special than specials.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We've done all the versions of the same joke.
I say we keep going.
Listeners, tell us which one's your favorite.
Oh,
So, and I think this was very telling to how the band was feeling at the time too. If you feel like More Specials is a little all over the place, that's how they felt too. The album recording process was so contentious. The bands were pulling each other in different directions. Like, for example, like Roddy really wanted to go back to basics, like more driving punk rock stuff. Like Lynn wanted to do some more ska and reggae again. So did Neville. I think some of them were being infatuated with new wave. Like Terry Hall was a big new wave guy.
Right.
Which like the Specials get lumped in as new wave, but they feel like so anti new wave in a lot of their stuff, especially when you compare it to like Madness and The Beat,
Mhm.
who were so new wave.
Yeah.
Whereas this feels a little bit more experimental.
Yeah. That's a good way to put it. Yeah.
The tours were also contentious, and the audience members would continuously fight each other.
oh.
The band also began drinking way more and getting very coked up.
Man.
Roddy in particular was
Was
getting
the 80s.
Yep.
True.
Roddy in particular was getting angry at Jerry, and at one point nearly pushed him off a cliff.
Oh.
And at another point smashed his guitar over Jerry's keyboards.
Oh,
Yeah. Here's what Roddy said
Jesus.
about that.
yeah.
Coke is a
I
hell of a
always rebelled.
drug.
Yeah, Coke is, yeah.
I always rebelled against authority, and Jerry started to look like authority to me. I saw him as the guy who was telling me what to do, and I wasn't happy with my internal situation and was drinking too much.
Huh.
I was being a total asshole. Well, arsehole.
So he
but I said asshole.
projected what he was going through onto his person in his band that he felt like was an authority figure.
And
Yeah.
he was willing to admit
And he
it, too.
reflected upon it.
Yeah. So the rest of the band, including Terry and Horace, were getting fed up with the ensuing violence, and fans began attacking bouncers. and some of the supporting acts, and would culminate in Terry throwing his mic stand at a bouncer and getting fined by the promoter. And here's what he said about that. As a group, we're now thinking whether or not to carry on doing tours. We don't like violence at our concerts. We've made that clear from the outset. We offer music as an alternative to fighting. It's easier to use your energy dancing than punching someone in the mouth.
Ha!
Anyway, if the fighting doesn't stop, there's only one way to make it stop. We either don't gig or we call it a day.
That's a bummer.
Yeah, so this is it keeps going. So here's Horace, also disillusioned, fled to the U.S. and joined Mike Oldfield's cult. I don't know how to say this. Exegesis, and began giving them exegesis. Yeah, I'll just call it that.
Yeah.
And began giving them all his money.
Sick.
Oddly enough, this would give the band enough anger and depression to write their magnum opus, Ghost Town, in 1981, a #1 single and arguably the band's biggest song, a song about urban decay, inner city violence, and the death throes of UK industrialization. This would prove to be the swan song of the classic lineup, as Neville, Terry, and Lynn Golding would all leave after they performed at Top of the Pops.
Damn.
So let's play Ghost Town. Second time played on the podcast because you had it on a spooky song. Sampled by the Gorillaz.
For Clint Eastwood. That's sick. That's why I like Clint Eastwood so much.
This time is coming and it goes down. All the clubs are being closed down. This place
Why does it go so hard?
goes down.
So hard. Right?
Bands won't play no more. Too much fighting on the dance floor.
Hot.
Yeah, it's so cool.
Yeah.
That's fucking sick.
Wow.
So
Good fucking song.
right after releasing like one of the most like shrug emoji albums they've had.
Yeah.
And they just all start fucking fighting with each other, and it was enough of a whole deal to release probably their best song. Like,
Yeah.
well, within reason. Like that, but that song is
But yeah.
so good.
I feel like sometimes you can like reach a point where it's gonna either go really well or
Yeah.
suicide.
Yeah, no, I feel like they wrote more specials because at a time where they didn't have any motivation at all or
Yeah.
something, which is like, I don't know, they just didn't have like a direction. Even though the first record was so like eclectic and all over the place, it had a direction and it had
Yeah, this
Mr.
they were
Elvis
going in this-
Costello and like, whereas this next record was just like, all right, boys, let's do another. And everyone was just kind of like on different pages. Everyone was like
Absolutely.
experiencing fame for the first time, kind of lazy. And it was just like, we're a big deal. Here's our input.
Yeah.
And it just came out as schlop. It just
And
came,
it's
I mean, you know, just nothing
It's
crazy.
the beginning of them getting really kitchen sinky.
Exactly,
Yeah.
yeah.
Which we'll talk about more in the next record for sure.
That's like the gutter.
But so right after this, after Staple Hall and Golding left to form Funboy 3, Roddy Radiation also left at the same time. And here's what Jerry said about this mass exodus. After more or less getting on my knees and begging the band to do Ghost Town, I thought after it got to #1 that I'd proved myself to the band, that they were going to realize that I knew what I was doing. We had popularity and critical acclaim. We got Top of the Pops, and Neville came into the dressing room and announced we were leaving. And I was really, really upset. But that also, I mean, that note from him starts to kind of give you an idea of how much control he was starting to exert over the band and how it was slowly becoming the Jerry show and less about what everybody else was into.
Yeah.
Right.
So the new lineup would still have Horace Panter and John Bradbury, but this is where he changed it to the Special AKA permanently. Would have a completely different lineup, and for vocals they got Rhoda from the Body Snatchers, one of my favorite two-tone bands.
Mhm.
And they would release a song called Boiler Room, which I'm not playing because it will bum everybody out. It's a really, really good song, and I think everyone should listen to it. It's a Body Snatchers song. It's the only original that they wrote that was recorded by the Specials with Rhoda.
Mhm.
And it's kind of done in like a sing talk way with like a really steady reggae beat under it. And it's just a story about the character in the story meeting some guy and it ending in date rape. So it's a
That's
very
crazy. I haven't heard it.
it's an excellent song.
Yeah.
Doesn't fit the tone of our podcast, I'd say, but I'd say everybody should give it a listen. And in my opinion, it might be the last great Special song. It would hit number 35 on the charts because nobody wanted to play it. It's very uncommercial
Mhm.
Yeah.
and it's very stark and like pretty tragic. But it was kind of also not great for the band to put out such an unconventional song because now they were going to have a hard time releasing their follow-up.
Yeah, was it not well received?
No, it's like commercially or critically acclaimed. It's just tough. It's not a radio
bummer.
song. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so then Horace was now completely engrossed in his cult and would also leave the band right after. And noted that right as he was leaving that Jerry was becoming very reclusive and obsessive. So Horace said, I could see that Jerry was struggling, but I was full of exegesis and self-assertion, and he was dead against that. It must have been hell for him. I hated leaving. I couldn't change Jerry's mind, make him go away for a bit, get some inspiration. He was going to confront it head on. So the flux in the band would continue throughout 82, 83, and they would release a single here and there before finally nailing down a lineup for their third record with Rhoda and Stan Campbell on the vocals, Jerry and John still the only members of the original lineup. Elvis Costello would return to do some production, and Rico and Dick would come back on the horns. Many of the original members would return for guest spots, but the album took years and years and a lot of money. The pre-release singles bombed and would be too experimental, strange, or uncompromising, much to the chagrin of the band. And here's what John said about it. It took an inordinate amount of time. There didn't seem to be any rehearsals for it. It all took place in the studio, hence the name of it. Did Jerry tell you how much it cost? It was loads. The money being spent was ridiculous. There was no way the album was going to recoup it unless it got to number one and sold across the continents. This album was called In the Studio, and in many ways is the singular vision of Jerry Dammers as opposed to a group effort. Songs were written and recorded over a 2-year period. Way more muzak, way more psychedelic stuff, way more drum or electronic drum machines.
Yeah.
Album hit number 35 with the single Free Nelson Mandela hitting number 9.
Mm-hmm.
Successful enough to actually make apartheid a national conversation in the UK. But Dammers basically decided that the band was toast after this because it just bombed so bad. Of course, the Specials would return later, but as of 84, they're broken up, and there's more to come after that. And in 85, Fishbone released their first EP, which would mark the start of the third wave. So basically the end of one era and the start of another.
Right.
But let's talk about In the Studio a little bit.
Birth and death.
To kick off the conversation, let's play Free Nelson Mandela.
Is this pre-Mandela effect? You'd be,
Or it would be
living
during-
in. It'd be during when the Mandela effect. You're it's fun. Joey's laughing. It's a party. We're having a fun ska party.
Silly comparison to like Ghost Town.
I think Boiler Room would have flowed nicely into this.
You think so?
Stella,
So much.
I'm begging you. I'm begging you.
So here's my review of this album that I messaged.
Did it
somebody.
work? Did the song work?
Here's my review. This whole album is the sonic equivalent of trying to stifle a yawn on a conference call about paper clips.
Yeah.
Yep. I don't understand why everybody is so bored. Like everybody singing like this. I'm so bored singing. I'm sure this is somebody's favorite record, but holy moly, I thought it was a chore.
Yeah,
Whoa.
I just kind of skimmed through it. It was
Yeah.
it's a little wild.
Tim, you had some feelings. Let's
Yeah,
hear
I mean, so I've always known Free Nelson Mandela. It's like, you know, a song that you hear, and I actually had no idea that it was on this record. I actually didn't even know this was a real record. Holy shit! Like what is like? This is just like a just gutter, just like the bullshit that happened from this band. I don't know.
Yeah.
There's so much.
They
kicking
were in a
around.
bad place.
It really seems a lot like kind of like the Clash just cut the crap.
It songs like a Live Aid song.
Yeah, exactly. Like
Yeah.
a song that was written for a special occasion by like a bunch of musicians that were like forced into a room. They're like, can you guys come up with
We
like
are the
something?
world.
Yeah, like can you guys come up with something inspirational? I don't know. You know, Nelson Mandela is like locked up. Like, can you do something? And that's what it seems like. Like there's no. I probably listened to this album twice today while I was like packing up, and I just zoned out the entire time.
So I guess that like takes us to the end of the Time
specials
Skachine, and you know
for
what?
the 80s. Up to the 80s.
It was such a monster Time Skachine that we won't be able to do the games and stuff because like we're at time for the episode.
Thank God.
Yeah, but
They're usually
It's
just
the-
built to torture me.
yeah, but the specials is a big band to talk about.
Yeah.
We're doing their whole like core time that they were alive, and we wanted to pay proper tribute with Catbite. So yeah, we wanted to make it happen. So
And we wanted to do a longer-ish interview
yeah, and we had a really I mean that was amazing
because
too.
we caught the cat
Meow.
Is
for
that
the
a thing?
pod. Yeah.
Thanks for listening to Checkered Past. Hit us up on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and TikTok at Checkered Past Pod, or send us an email at checkeredpastpod@gmail.com. Support the pod and get bonus content, including a full-length and unedited video and audio of this episode. Sign up for the Checkerhead Patreon at patreon.com/checkeredpast. We also have merch at checkeredpast.ca. Checkered Past is edited by Arianne and engineered by Joey.
Thanks.
Britt and Tim, thanks so much for coming on, not for having us. We're thanking you for coming to us.
Thank you for coming on my podcast.
What would you like to plug?
Thank you
now-
for having us in your life.
It's now our podcast. What's up?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, thank God.
Sweet.
Shit, no.
That's awesome.
Wait.
I'm bailing
Reverse.
out on this.
Plugs?
What would you like to plug?
Plugs.
All right. So we're a band. We're about to go on tour.
Did we not say that up at the top?
Oh, yeah.
So, catbite.net for literally anything and everything. It's a website that I built
We may have some new merch dropping
this week.
this
Yeah.
week.
Yeah, we're going on tour with Jeff Rosenstock in 5 days. And then another tour with another really big band that might rhyme with Manifesto. And then other shit. I don't know.
Rewrite Ska'd Westo.
Yeah, we're basically on tour for the rest of our lives, and we would love to see
Yeah.
y'all. If you're listening in person, come hang out, come dance, come say hi.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Until next time, I'm Rob.
And I'm Celine.
And in the immortal words of the specials, I won't fight for a cause. I don't want to change the law. Just leave me alone. Just leave me alone. I want to get out on my own.
Yay!
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Are you going to stop it, Joey?
Yeah, I'm gonna stop this.
Why don't you stop the Zencaster?
Why don't you stop